French President Emmanuel Macron met his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in Beijing. He called upon Xi to reason with Russia and bring an end to the war in Ukraine. Macron said, and I quote, "I know I can count on you to bring Russia to reason." Beijing and the Western countries are at odds over various issues like Taiwan and China's close ties with Russia. Russia has said its troops shot down Ukrainian drones and missiles. Ukraine claims that its forces repelled Russian attacks in various directions. Russia continued attacks in Donetsk, Kherson and other regions. Russia claims to have downed one Ukrainian Air Force MiG-29 airplane and 13 US high-mobility artillery rocket systems. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the country's troops are still fighting for the city of Bakhmut, but could pull out if they risked being cut off. Zelensky said it is important for him to not lose soldiers. The battle for Bakhmut has become one of the bloodiest and longest battles since Russia invaded Ukraine. The city has been reduced to ruins. Ukraine's deputy defense minister, however, says that the situation is completely under control despite Russian attacks. Zelensky is on a trip to Poland. He said that the country would help form a coalition of Western powers to supply warplanes to Ukraine. Zelensky also said that Russia would not defeat Europe while Ukraine and Poland are working closely together. The Polish president said Russia has committed war crimes in Ukraine, which must be punished. Russian President Vladimir Putin welcomed his Belarusian counterpart Alexander Lukashenko to Moscow. The two leaders steered clear of making public remarks on the war in Ukraine. The meeting comes days after Putin announced that he will place some of Russia's tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus and close to NATO borders. Minsk is one of Moscow's closest political allies. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke to US President Joe Biden about Ukraine. The two leaders called upon Russia to release a Wall Street journalist who has been detained by Russia. The reporter is a US citizen. Russia's security service arrested the reporter and accused him of gathering information that was a state secret. The reporter has denied allegations of spying. Swedish prosecutors have said it will likely be difficult to determine who blew up the Nord Stream pipelines last year. In September 2022, there were explosions at the Nord Stream pipelines connecting Russia and Germany in the Baltic Sea. The explosions happened in the economic zones of Sweden and Denmark. US House Speaker Kevin McCarthy met Taiwan's President Tsai-Ing in the US state of California. The meeting took place despite threats from China. The two leaders discussed mutual support and cooperation between the US and Taiwan. In August last year, former US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had visited Taipei. The move had angered China. China has vowed to take firm and forceful measures after Tsai-Ing met Kevin McCarthy in California. China accused the US and Taiwan of colluding with each other and improving ties under the pretext of transit. Tsai arrived in the US after visiting two Central American nations of Guatemala and Belize. Her visit came after her former ally Honduras established diplomatic ties with China. Taiwan's defense ministry has said that a Chinese anti-submarine helicopter and 3 warships have been detected around the island. This comes after Tsai-Ing-wen's meeting with Kevin McCarthy. China had threatened the two leaders against meeting each other. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council has accused Beijing of obstructing trade in the Taiwan Strait. The foreign ministers of Iran and Saudi Arabia met in Beijing. They discussed steps towards opening embassies and consulates of the two countries. In March this year, Tehran and Riyadh announced their decision to restore ties which were severed 7 years ago. Under the agreement, the two sides are to open their embassies and missions within 2 months and implement security and economic cooperation deals. North Korea has accused the US and South Korea of escalating tensions to the brink of nuclear war through their joint military drills. The country, led by Kim Jong-un, has vowed to respond with offensive action. The US and South Korea have been engaged in a series of air and sea drills. North Korea has called them a rehearsal for invasion. Former US President Donald Trump has called for the slashing of funding to the US Justice Department and the FBI. This comes one day after Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. In the past, Republicans have supported robust funding for law enforcement agencies. They've also criticized proposals to defund local police departments. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has testified in a controversial gift case. Authorities are investigating jewelry and gifts given to Bolsonaro and his wife by the King of Saudi Arabia in 2021. One of the jewelry sets was valued at more than $3 million. It was seized by customs officials from a government aide who was returning from Saudi Arabia. Bolsonaro maintains he did nothing wrong by receiving the gifts. A 25-year-old man armed with an axe attacked children at a preschool in Brazil's Santa Catarina. 4 children have been killed, while 4 others have been injured. The attacker has been arrested. Brazilian President Lula da Silva has called the attack a monstrosity. The incident comes a week after a 13-year-old stabbed a teacher to death in a school in Sao Paulo. After losing the country's general election, Finland's outgoing Prime Minister Sanna Marin has tendered her government's resignation. Marin will not continue as the leader of the Social Democratic Party. She will continue working as a lawmaker. The SDP got the 3rd position in the election with 43 seats. The National Coalition Party won 48 seats. 5 people have been killed in a tornado that ripped through the US state of Missouri. 5 others have been injured. 87 structures have been damaged, 12 buildings have been destroyed. This comes days after violent tornadoes struck the American South and Midwest. At least 32 people have been killed due to the tornadoes across the region. A tornado has also hit the US state of Iowa. Many parts of the country are witnessing severe thunderstorms. The National Weather Service has warned of possible hail and lightning. Authorities in Colombia have urged people living near the Nevado del Ruiz volcano to evacuate. This comes after a surge in seismic activity. Last week, the government raised the volcano's alert level to orange. This indicates a heightened chance of eruption in the coming days or weeks. Some residents have complied with the warning, while others have refused to leave. A new study has found that ice sheets can collapse in the ocean faster than recorded before. It can happen in spurts of up to 600 meters a day. Scientists have pointed out that the findings are a warning from the past for today's world in which the climate crisis is eroding ice sheets. They said that some ice sheets in Antarctica could witness periods of rapid collapse in the near future. India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, is proposing expanding the reach of popular Unified Payments Interface by allowing credit to be offered via pre-approved bank lines. UPI is an instant real-time payment system that allows users to transfer money across multiple banks without disclosing bank account details. Swiss lender UBS has said it can make its unexpected takeover of rival Credit Suisse pay off for its shareholders. The comments were made as UBS executives sought to calm investors at an annual general meeting on Wednesday. The deal marked the biggest bank rescue since the 2008 global financial crisis. An Indonesian associate of Singapore Telecommunications has agreed to merge with its parent's IndiHome broadband arm. The merger is set to create an entity worth $3.9 billion. The move comes as Telkomsel looks to expand in Indonesia's fixed broadband market. Asian telecom companies are positioning themselves for the transition to a digital economy and 5G. Australia's corporate regulator has called the Australian financial services license held by an entity trading as cryptocurrency exchange Binance Australia derivatives. As a result, cryptocurrency exchange Binance's clients will not be able to increase their derivatives positions or open new positions. The regulators have provided clients with a deadline of April 21st to close any existing derivative positions. Honda Motor Corporation Limited has announced top management changes in its Indian two-wheeler arm. The automobile giant has appointed Sutsumo Otani as the president, CEO and managing director of Honda Motorcycles and Scooter India. The company has also announced the elevation of Vinay Dhingra. Dhingra was overlooking multiple Indian functions till date. Amazon has announced that it will be laying off more than 100 employees from its gaming division. The recent announcement of layoffs are part of the company's broader cutbacks. They're set to impact employees from its Prime Gaming and Game Growth segments and the company's San Diego studio. Amazon Games VP Christoph Hartmann has written a memo to staff revealing these job cuts. Amid mass layoffs, Amazon has reportedly decided to cut employee stock awards as well. Amazon has said it would reduce the employee stock awards as the company tries to navigate a tough economy. It's also considering the possibility of adjusting its compensation model in the future. This will be done in order to be more balanced between base cash compensation and equity. Vietnam's government has said it will probe TikTok's operation in the country from May. The step comes in a bid to ensure the video platform complies with regulations on content management, tax payments, and commercial policies. According to the government, TikTok has recently allowed toxic, offensive, false, and superstitious content on its platform. International law enforcement agencies have seized a sprawling dark web marketplace popular with cybercriminals. This is according to Britain's National Crime Agency. The marketplace has been seized in a multinational crackdown dubbed Operation Cookie Monster. The NCA estimates that the service hosted about 80 million credentials and digital fingerprints. These were stolen from more than 2 million people. Canada has announced that it has opened an investigation into US-based software firm behind ChatGPT. The investigation into OpenAI has been opened in response to a complaint alleging the collection, use, and disclosure of personal information without consent. Launched in November, OpenAI's chatbot uses information available online to provide detailed answers to users' queries. 5 top Indian cricketers have been awarded life memberships of the prestigious Marylebone Cricket Club. They are MS Dhoni, Yuvraj Singh, Suresh Raina, Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami. The London-based Marylebone Club, which frames the rules of the game, awards honorary life membership to some of the finest men and women to have played the game. India's London Olympic bronze medalist Sania Nehwal has crashed out of the Orleans Masters badminton tournament. Nehwal suffered a straight-game first-round loss to Turkey's Neslihan Yigit. It's not all despair for India though. Shuttlers Mithun Manjunath, Priyanshu Rajawat, Akarshi Kashyap and Tanya Hemant have progressed to the second round of the tournament. In football, Karim Benzema struck a hat-trick as Real Madrid thrashed arch rivals Barcelona 4-0 last evening. With the spectacular win, the Whites are now through to the Copa del Rey final. Madrid will fancy their chances of winning the trophy for a 20th time when they face Osasuna in the final. Frank Lampard has agreed to take over as Chelsea's interim manager. This will be Lampard's second stint managing the club. He previously led Chelsea between July 2019 and January 2021. The 44-year-old is Chelsea's all-time top scorer with 211 goals. The development comes as the club's owners continue their search for a candidate to replace former manager Graham Potter. Potter was sacked on Sunday after just 31 games in charge. UEFA President Alexander Seferin has highlighted the need to clamp down on the abuse of football players by spectators. Seferin was addressing the Ordinary Congress of European Football's governing body in Lisbon. He was later re-elected as UEFA president unopposed. Brazil's women's football team trained on the Wembley pitch ahead of the inaugural women's Finalissima. They take on the European champions England, who lifted the trophy at the very same stadium last summer. The South American champions will be without key players Marta, Debinha and Ludmila and goalkeeper Lorena when they face England later tonight. Newcastle United have bolstered their place in the Premier League's top four. They've also taken a huge step towards Champions League qualification. This after Callum Wilson and Joe Linton both scored twice in a 5-1 rout of woeful West Ham United last evening. On the other hand, West Ham are 15th with 27 points and are only out of the relegation zone on goal difference. Women's world number one in tennis, Iga Swiatek, has thrashed tennis body's decisions of allowing Russian and Belarusian players to compete at international tournaments. Swiatek said, tennis missed an opportunity to send a strong message to Moscow by failing to impose a blanket ban on players from Russia and its ally Belarus after the invasion of Ukraine. Irish mixed martial arts artist Conor McGregor has completed a decade in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, McGregor making his debut in the promotion against Max Holloway on April 6, 2013. In celebration of the milestone, UFC Europe commemorated McGregor's debut in the promotion on their Twitter handle. They shared a video of the Irishman stepping on the scale ahead of his first fight. Michael Jordan's shoes from his 1998 Last Dance season are expected to be the most valuable sneakers ever sold at auction. These are the 1998 NBA Finals Game 2 Air Jordan 13s. The shoes were worn in Game 2 of 1998 NBA Finals, where Jordan scored 37 points. They were projected to sell for between $2 to $4 million, but already they have a bid of nearly over the high estimated price. They're considered to be in remarkable condition with big silver signatures by Jordan. Indian actor Priyanka Chopra Jonas has joined the cast of the film Heads of State. She joins actors Idris Elba and John Cena in the action thriller. Shooting for the film begins in May this year. Chopra Jonas will next be seen in the series Citadel, releasing on the 28th of April. Actor Orlando Bloom will star in a series adaptation of the novel This Must Be the Place. Bloom will play an American linguist. The actor will also executive produce the series. The novel has been penned by Irish author Maggie O'Farrell. Period drama film Jean du Barry will open the Cannes Film Festival. It stars Johnny Depp as French King Louis XV. The film will have its Cannes premiere on the 16th of May. It will also be released simultaneously in French cinemas. Actor Hugh Jackman has shared an update about his skin cancer scare. Jackman has reassured his fans that his biopsies came back negative. In the video, he urged people to wear sunscreen. The actor had undergone 2 biopsies after doctors suspected basal cell carcinoma. The second trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has set a new record. It became the highest viewed trailer in the Spider-Man film franchise. The trailer got 148.6 million views within 24 hours of its release. The film will release on the 2nd of June. The official documentary for the 2022 Winter Olympics will open the Beijing International Film Festival. Titled Beijing 2022, the documentary will have its world premiere at the festival. The festival is scheduled between the 22nd and 29th of April. This will mark the festival's return to in-person format after 3 years of the pandemic. BBC Radio 4 has released a concert recording of the Beatles from 6 decades ago. This is the earliest known concert recording of the band. The recording shows the Beatles performing at a school's theatre. It dates back to April 4th, 1963. Nominees for the 2023 MTV Movie and TV Awards have been announced. Actor Tom Cruise's Top Gun Maverick leads the film category with 6 nominations. Television series Stranger Things and The Last of Us also received 6 nominations each. The awards will be telecast live on MTV on the 7th of May. Actor Drew Barrymore will host the ceremony. Korean singer Suga is starring in a documentary titled Suga Road to D-Day. The BTS band member will give his fans an inside look at his solo career. The documentary will be out on the 21st of April. The release date coincides with the release of his debut solo album, D-Day. K-pop band 17 have announced their 10th mini-album. Titled FML, the album will release on the 24th of April. It comes 9 months after the band's last album, Sector 17. The band have also announced an exhibition titled 17th Street. The exhibition will take place in Seoul from the 4th to the 16th of April.
The US and Russia are dangerously close to an armed conflict. This year, 2023, New Delhi will be the capital of global diplomacy. For a country as diverse as ours, with 88% of the population illiterate, it was a very big deal to write a constitution, and that too, the world's largest. Meanwhile, if we may, here's a Republic Day gift from India for the BBC. A list of suggestions for the BBC for their upcoming documentaries. Number 1, the Kohinoor and the colonial loot. Number 2, an outdated monarchy and unhealthy obsession with the royals. Number 3, racism in 2023.